Yo, what's up, guys? How you doing out there in internet TV land? Just wanted to run this by you guys. We have a situation over in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey, where the mayor of Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey, is acting not only as a mayor, but he's also acting as a lobbyist for an organization called RAMP, which is an anti-legalization organization. And we're going to watch a little bit of a video that was taken at a city council meeting here. What's interesting is when I'm going to go back to the beginning of the video, and you can hear what this mayor says. Okay.
This town, so I will say to my council members after maybe Dave, you want to say something, and Vince. Right, so one Dave and Vince can speak, and then when they're done, you want to go because this has nothing to do with town business.
You hear what he just said? He said after the two people speak, when the other people come to speak, the city council can leave at that point because what they're going to say has nothing to do with town business. He's basically telling the other members of council that they should leave because he knows that he's about to get outed as a paid lobbyist for an anti-marijuana legalization group called RAMP. And Point Pleasant Beach was the first town, December 20th of 2000, and let's see, make sure I'm getting it right here. It was December 20th of 2017. They banned cannabis dispensaries. So let's take a listen here. He's telling his council members that they can go.
Dave?
And now he's going to let some other people come up and speak. I'm going to fast forward to a marijuana activist here. A guy named Mike Pincello. If I destroyed your name, sorry. Check it out.
Gentlemen, this gentleman here's got.
Oh, you got to hear this. So just take a listen.
Portray us as this quiet, sleepy hamlet. We do have 21 liquor licenses, a few mega bars, and
this guy's saying you got 21 liquor licenses, mega bars, and stuff like that.
Should be stopped for things other than small quantities of marijuana, like
he's basically
drunken driving. Thank you.
A resident of the township who wants marijuana dispensaries.
All right, gentlemen, this gentleman here's got some marijuana. He's been leaving it open, so this whole place smells like marijuana. I don't really appreciate you coming to my town, making this room smell like marijuana, but...
So, Mr. Stephen Reid, Mayor Stephen Reid, you can hear him talking there saying he doesn't appreciate this medical marijuana patient coming to his town and making his town smell like marijuana. So, I wonder, what would he mind? Would he mind, maybe, let's say, if I put a landfill in his town? Should I put a landfill in your town? You think you'd smell the landfill and think that would be okay? Or would you defend the landfill? Or would you be against it? Because that's your town, right? Well, what happened just a couple towns over, Mr. Reid? Well, back in the 1990s, it looks like, let's go to the first one here, from 1994. Residents to air landfill gripes. So this is a town in Ocean County, just a couple towns over, Toms River, Dover and Manchester Township residents who say something stinks at the Ocean County landfill will meet tonight with landfill representatives and a few freeholders. So we'll get down to the part where Mr. Reid is mentioned. Let's see. Let's see here, Mr. Reid, where you at? I know you're in here. All right. Hess said his work schedule was made it possible to attend tonight's meeting, and that Moriarty had set up before contacting him. Stephen Reid, the landfill's public affairs coordinator, will attend the meeting. So this is saying that this meeting, the residents have gripes about this stink coming from the landfill, not from a little jar of marijuana, Mr. Reid, not from a little tiny jar of marijuana, a big giant landfill with trash and methane gas and all that stuff. So let's see here what happened at the meeting, though. So landfill hearing draws hundreds. That's in 2000, so that's after. So this is September 14th. Let's see. Landfill neighbors protest dumps plan to expand. So let's take a little looky-poo here and see what it says about Mr. Reid's involvement. So this is basically, there's all kinds of people showed up to say they shouldn't, add anything onto this landfill. It's already been stinking up their town. And Mr. Reid, the representative for the landfill, was said to be there tonight so they can ask him some questions. And it says, although Stephen Reid, the public affairs coordinator for the Ocean County Landfill Corp., said Tuesday that he would be at the meeting, he did not attend. A no-show. Yo, dude, it stinks in their town. It stinks at their town, and you're a no-show, Mr. Reid. What are you doing? Huh? I thought you cared about the people in your town, the smell in your town, right? Marijuana smell, very offensive. That's how landfill smells are very much more offensive. And what you told the people of Manchester and also of Dover was that it was legal, what the landfill was doing. So basically, they could just keep their mouths shut, right? Because it didn't really matter, because what they were doing was technically legal. So landfill still has neighbors down in the dumps. Let's see what Mr. Reid said about this. All right. Oh, he's right in there right away. So it says, Ocean County landfills officials have added 2 more people to the payroll in an effort to soothe nearby Dover Township residents. In an effort to soothe the residents, how about stop making it stink in their house? So here we go. There are no job titles for the new positions. One man was hired to ride shotgun around an active dump area in a water truck equipped with a pine scent, which he sprays over the fresh garbage. He literally stands there all day, spraying the solid waste, trying to keep down the smell, said Stephen Reid, a landfill spokesman. Yo, dude, you worked for the landfill. You didn't care about the residents of Manchester, nor Dover. You stunk up their towns and you got paid to do it. Now, you're a paid lobbyist for RAMP, Stephen Reid and Associates. That's how you were called at the actual legislative hearing last month. You were called Stephen Reid and Associates, and you came up and you represented RAMP. You're a paid lobbyist, buddy. You can't be a paid lobbyist and the mayor of the town and implementing policies and procedures that directly are in lockstep with the organization you're lobbying for. You are ethically in violation of many laws in New Jersey. Let's take a look at some laws of local governance here, folks. Let's see. No local government officer or employee shall undertake any employment or service, whether compensated or not, which I believe you're compensated, which might reasonably be expected to prejudice his independence of judgment in the exercise of his official duties. So, in this one here, we know that Mr. Reid is sensitive about smell because he says, listen, you're bringing a little thing of marijuana, and he doesn't appreciate the smell in his town of the marijuana. But in this very easy to see, Mr. Reid is saying that, listen, they're doing everything they can. They got a guy with a pine-scented hose spraying down the trash. Look, his job is to go out to the neighborhood. This is the other guy. The other employee spends his days sniffing. He's sniffing. It's his job is to sniff. Is he a cocaine? Is he using cocaine? What's he doing? It says his job is to go out to the neighborhood of Manchester and Dover, and he smells, and if he smells anything, he has to call back, Reid said. I don't know what the job title is. I don't know how much he makes. How much do you make, Mr. Reid, for approaching the residents of a township and tell them they are okay with the stink of a landfill in their town, but then telling other people that the legal marijuana that's in their pocket, in their little legal jar there, is offending you to the point that you feel that they should not have it in your town? And you ban dispensaries, not only recreational, but medicinal dispensaries, because you created a quarter-mile radius, which nobody has a quarter-mile radius for anything, for any type of use. There's no quarter-mile radius, but for cannabis, you decided to make a quarter-mile radius because you're a paid lobbyist, a fat turd paid lobbyist for RAMP. Okay, so we're going to go a little further into here to you, Mr. Reid, and we're going to figure out a little bit more about your personality and who, just who would be out there stumping. Let's take a look here. So here he is graduating from high school. Good old Mr. Reid. He was the class president. Look, he had a cop's mustache as a senior in high school. But it looks like Point Pleasant Borough High School student. Wait, you're a Point Pleasant Borough? I thought you lived in Point Pleasant Beach, Reid. Huh? What's going on here, bud? Let's go down here. We're going to find out a little bit more about you, Mr. Reid. So, after you worked for MWW Group, you opened your own PR firm in Point Pleasant called Stephen Reid and Associates, right? Stephen D. Reid and Associates. And you decided you wanted to run for office, but you couldn't do it yourself, so you got somebody involved. And by the way, what you also did is during the time that you were doing the lobbying for the landfill, you were also lobbying for iron worker, an iron plant. Let's see. Let's make sure I get this right. I don't want to get nothing wrong. So late noise angers residents. This is the most important thing. So you go through this whole thing. These people are talking about how everything is noisy. They can't, sleep. Blah blah blah. Stephen D. Reid, a hired spokesman for the interstate, said the company is not doing anything illegal. You know what? I'm sure the residents of that town appreciate you telling them that the company wasn't doing anything illegal while the iron was slamming against each other and keeping them up. You also didn't care about people's concerns about arsenic from Home Depot. So when people were concerned about arsenic, you said, what's important for you to understand is that the developer understands and takes concerns about arsenic or any chemical in the drinking water very seriously, Stephen D. Reid, a public relations consultant for Home Depot, said yesterday. Reid did not attend the board meeting. Hey, that seems like it's pretty common for you. You don't show up where you're going to have a tough time, or when you know you're going to have a tough time, you tell the other council members to go home. Wow, you're a real beaut. What, do you get your mommy to hold your hands to do things? Huh? Do you get your mommy to hold your hands, Mr. Reid? I'm just trying to check that out because I think you might. I think you're the type of guy that gets his mommy to hold his hands to do things. Ooh. GOP primary result unchanged by recount. Point Pleasant. A recount of a June 6th Republican primary did not change the outcome. Barbara J. Reid and her son, Stephen D. Reid, sought the GOP nominations to run for the borough council. Wait. Listen, and I understand. Listen, I love my mom. But you ran for council with your mommy? I'm just saying, bro. I mean, you couldn't figure... At the same time, you were out there pumping it up for the landfills and for Home Depot and for the interstate. You were running for an office right then, so you knew that you wanted to break the ethic laws back in 1995, so you've been waiting for this for a long time. You've been doing a good job, by the way. I wonder what else you've done to Point Pleasant or any other places that you were a politician where you were a hinge for the corporations as you were, it seems, for your entire life. So in here, you and your mommy called for a recall a recount, and you still lost after the recount. So the recount found out that still, you were still a loser. And then in 2010, I guess there was some type of recall election for mayor, and you were running for mayor of Point Pleasant. And listen, it is what it is. But you had your 7th grade daughter write a op-ed into the newspaper saying that you're a great father, coach, mentor, you're this great guy, and that vote yes for the recall and yes for my dad, Stephen Reid, for mayor. Does a 7th grader really know what a recall is? Huh? I mean, did you coerce her to write this? Listen, I'm just saying, bro. What kind of person gets their daughter to write a letter for him? That's just me. I'm just talking out loud here, Mr. Reid. But I will say your ethics are in complete question here. We're going to go back here. No local government officer or employee shall use or attempt to use his official position to secure unwarranted privileges or advantages for himself or others. Well, the unwanted privilege that you got here was the fact that you banned dispensaries. You started a snowball effect for other towns to ban dispensaries. You've been going to these other towns, representing yourself as the mayor of Point Pleasant Beach, not as the executive director of RAMP. I can show you, actually, where you do not say at all that you are the executive director of RAMP. And just try to find it here. Let's see. See if I take the D out of your name. The D is for douche. Well, let's see. Let me go on to Google. I think I could find it there. Let's see. Let's see how you introduce yourself, Mr. Reid.
Millions of pet parents are shopping online at Chewy.com.
You gotta
With
hang
low
with
prices and free
this,
shipping, we make it easy
We
to
will see
give
that
them
you are a slime.
everything they give to you.
Caterpillar.
I'm the mayor of Point Pleasant Beach. Yeah, we were the first town to basically make it illegal for any dispensaries. I know that you took some shots at me, but that's okay.
It's stupid if you want to call that taking a shot. But hey, you do what you think your community members want.
You heard what he said there, by the way. He said that I'm the mayor of Point Pleasant Beach. He didn't say I'm the director of RAMP, right? He didn't say I'm director of RAMP. See if we can find him here. I know there was some video of him speaking at a city council meeting. Let's see if we can add the douche into the name again, because the douche really works out well for this guy, because he is a big douche. Let's go mayor, because, you know, you're a big-time dude. Mayor Stephen D. Reid. And I can't find it right now, but trust me, I've watched you. You introduce yourself. You've only introduced yourself actually at the legislative session as the director of RAMP. Every other city council I've seen you speak at, or the SMART meeting or whatever it was with Kevin Sabet, you said that you were just the mayor of Point Pleasant Beach, but you're a paid lobbyist. So I'm calling for an investigation. I'm calling for the New Jersey Attorney General to investigate Mayor Stephen D. Reid in Point Pleasant Beach for an ethics violation of being a paid lobbyist for a group called RAMP. At the same time, he is implementing legislation which is the same legislation that his organization that he's lobbying for is pushing for. So I believe that is not only an ethics violation, I believe it's against the law, and he should go to jail.